Okay, so recording. All right, so today we're going to go over the American APA. So let me share my screen, and I am going to share. I hope you don't mind if I go over this just a little bit for all those people who didn't, okay? So I'll just do this for very quickly. So when we use APA, it's called the APA stands for the American Psychological Association. We always use APA when we cite medical facts, numerical facts, historical facts, legal facts, and scientific facts. There are two kinds of APA. You have a direct quote where you quote the source verbatim, as Santeria correctly said. And here is an example of a direct quote. You have to remember to have a beginning quotation mark and an ending quotation mark and a period. And then when we have a direct quote, we put the author's name, the date, and the page number. Usually we have a direct quote whenever we use any kind of number, because that way we're acknowledging the research that the researcher did to come up with that number. So any kind of numerical facts like dates, dollar amounts, percentages, all require a direct quote and then quotation marks, and then the author's name, date, and page number. When we do a paraphrase quote, that means that we are summarizing the direct quote. And so when we have a paraphrase quote, we don't need to have quotation marks. So we just write out the paraphrase quote, and then we put in the author name and the date. And then both the direct quote and the paraphrase quote are called in-text citations. So an in-text citation means that the citation occurs inside the body paragraphs. Whereas a reference citation, now we're up to where I left off. So Santeria, where do we place the reference citation? Do you know?
That would be at the end, correct?
Correct. Yes, we place it after the last page of the, so you would put in the word references, and then you put in your citations, and you have to put in your citations in alphabetical order. In other words, Abrams, then Balti, then Smith, and then Zykowski, or something like that. So you put it in alphabetical order, and then you have to have left hanging indent. So let me see. What are the parts of a reference citation? Do you know?
You said what is the point?
Yeah, what are the parts? What
Oh,
makes
the parts.
what makes up a reference citation? What comes first?
The quote.
No, there are no quotes in a reference citation. Okay, so you first put in last name, first name, then you put in the date, then you put in the name of the article. And then you put in next. Do you know what comes next? No. Okay, I'll take that to be a no. Then you put in where you got it from. Centers for or the name of your website. So either you put in the name of a website, name of a book, name of a journal, that sort of thing. In other words, where did the quotation come from? And if you're using some kind of journal, then you italicize the journal name, not the article name. I'll go over that in a second. If you're using a book or a website, then you italicize the article name. And so then after you write, did I go too fast? Yes? No? I'll take that to mean no. Okay. Then you write the date you retrieved it. Retrieve today's date is always whatever today's date is. So I think today's date is either the 16th, 2025 from, and then you put in your website. www.cdc.org. That sort of thing. It should be cdc.org. Now and then you have to remember, if you're doing a website or if you're doing you italicize the the article name. But if I got this, if I got this from a journal, then you would italicize the journal name. So let's say if I rewrote this, Smith P 2022, Obesity in America, American Medical Journal, volume 22, edition 3, pages 22 to 20, whatever. And then I would say retrieved, today's date, 2025, from web address. Okay, obesity in America. So if you got your source from a journal, not from a website or a book, then we don't italicize the article name. Instead, we italicize the journal name. American Medical Journal. There you go, American Medical Journal. And so then you go like that. And you don't have to do the, you don't have to italicize the article name. Don't ask me why they do it that way. That's just the way it is. Some students actually ask, but why is that, professor? And stuff like that. So that's it. Okay, so that if you are, so APA is quite simple. And then if you want to buy your own APA book, then you would go to www.apa.org. And I highly advise that you buy your own APA 7th edition manual. That way, if you get a source that's not a website or that's not a journal, and let's say you get a source from a newspaper, a magazine, or a book, let's say an audio or a video, some other source that I didn't do here today, then you can look it up in the APA manual. And everything APA, let me stop sharing. And everything APA that you see in all of your books, like your textbook, for instance, will go over APA and MLA. And APA is used in social sciences and businesses, while MLA, which stands for Modern Language Association, is used for humanities, literature, English, like English Lit, history. History uses Chicago-Turabian. Have you studied MLA before? Yes or no?
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's relatively similar. If you know MLA, then APA is very similar and it's very easy to adapt. Have you studied Chicago-Turabian? It's the oldest out of all the notation.
No.
No. So if you're of a certain age like me, I learned the Chicago-Turabian first because it was created first. Then I learned APA and MLA in college almost at the same time because those two notation systems, were created more or less at the same time later on. And so if you're a history major, you use Chicago-Turabian. If you're a doctor, it's some other notation that you don't have to know yet. But APA is what you use as a nurse. That's what you're going to encounter in your other classes. And oh, I forgot something. One other thing I want to go over. Hold on, let me see. Let me share my screen one more time. Where is it? Oh, yeah, there it is. Yeah. So when you put your in-text citation into your paragraph, you're going to use pie structure. So let me go over. Have you heard of pie structure before? No, I'll take that to mean no. And so when you use APA, we should only use one APA in-text citation per paragraph so that we don't overwhelm the reader with too many statistics. And so P stands for the main point from the thesis statement. So that is going to be your first sentence of the paragraph. I stands for in-text citation. E stands for explanation of that in-text citation in 5 sentences. And so that's why you could use this structure for all your body paragraphs. And so each paragraph has 5 to 7 sentences. And so, for example, if I were to say smoking causes lung cancer, so that would be a sentence taken from your thesis statement. So let's say your thesis statement is smoking causes lung cancer, stomach cancer, and throat cancer. And then when you have your 3 body paragraphs, just like when I said you're going to be a nurse, flexibility, job, and stability. Let's say those are your 3 reasons in your thesis statement. Then the 3 reasons in your thesis statement become your 3 body paragraphs. Well, that goes for anything you write. So here, the 3 items in your thesis statement, which is the main idea of your essay, will then become your body paragraphs. So let's say I put in all, and these are all called topic sentences. So that's why when you have a thesis statement with matching topic sentences, that's called 5-paragraph essay structure. And so each of these will become a paragraph of 5 to 7 sentences. And so let's say I want to use this one. So P stands for the main point from the thesis statement. That's the first sentence of the paragraph, which states the main idea of your paragraph. Each paragraph equals 1 idea. And so here I would put in a thesis statement. Let's use the same one that I had before. 80% of Americans are obese. Then you're going to put in Smith, 2022, page 22. And that's it. Then you're going to write 5 sentences about the significance of that in-text citation. So since 1955, Americans have gotten 10 pounds heavier with each decade. And today, Americans create larger and larger coffins, ambulances, and chairs. As Americans get more obese, they also have a tendency to get obesity-related diseases. Anyway, so you talk about the significance in 5 sentences of why you chose that in-text citation. And then that's it. That's it for that body paragraph. I didn't write the other 2 or 3 sentences, but you get the idea of what it is. So the advantage of using, now I can do stop share. And so the advantage of doing pie structure is so that you don't overwhelm, because some students think, oh, I want to impress the teacher. I think I'll use a 50,000 statistics to prove my point. And all you do is confuse the reader, because the reader can only remember, the human brain can only remember 2 or 3 statistics at a time. If you put in 20 different statistics, people will remember nothing. And so does this help you understand how to use APA for your biology or your psychology class? Do you know how to make a thesis statement? Yes or no? I'll take that to
Yes, I know how to make a thesis statement.
Okay. So if you have no more questions, I'll just end the recording, and then I will say I hope that everybody understood what APA is. And then if you ever have any questions about your classes, you can come to my Wednesday Zoom at 4:30 p.m. Eastern. And then everybody have a great week.